Army mateys, I be seafaring Seaborgium, softly sailing the seven stormy seas.
And I'm Amber.
And here be more Reddit for us to sail through. Let's get started, me hearties.
Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Daughter to Stop Talking About Her Stepmother and I on the Internet? I'm a 60-year-old male. My daughter is a 28-year-old female, and she's had a hard life. To be completely upfront, my wife has never been kind to her, but she has her share of problems as well, and I really do wish my daughter, Faye, would be more sympathetic to them. I married her 15 years ago, and she's 57. Also, to be upfront, I am a bit online myself, and my wife and son, a 15-year-old male, do frequently have to tell me to leave Twitter arguments alone. Faye was raised online, so this is likely partially my fault. To make a long story short, Faye left us at 19 and did not get back in contact with us until she was 27. I was very happy to hear from her and thought things were going well. Well, a few months ago, I came to find out that Faye is a writer in the online sphere that focuses on trauma recovery. She writes about other things as well, but most of the personal things that she writes involves trauma. I'm trying to present both sides here, so I will say that Faye never used names, ages, locations, professions, or other identifying information, but anyone close to us would be able to identify us due to the specific circumstances that she writes about. This upset both my wife and I greatly. I read through it all. It's good writing, but she's spewing our personal history all over the internet with no regard to who can see it. My wife and I have also found that she's changed some of the details somewhat and exaggerated others. It's very upsetting, and I don't think that it's healthy to deal with it like this. I confronted her about it, and she did not react well. She told me loudly that she did not want to talk about it, questioned how I found it, and completely refused to even acknowledge that I wanted to talk about it. I understand boundaries, but I don't think that it's appropriate to shut someone down like that when they're trying to talk to you about their behavior. I told her that she needed to deal with this in therapy. She coldly told me that she has been in intense therapy because of us for 10 years and has dealt with this in therapy. The next day, everything was wiped. She left up a post demonizing us and calling us stalkers. That was it. I'm heartbroken, but at the same time, she was talking about me and my wife on the internet in public, and I believe that I have the right to confront her about it. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yeah, I think Opie's a major jerk here. I'm sure it's no fun to see your bad behavior on the internet, but you know what's less fun? Being the one on the receiving end of that abuse.
Yeah, well, OP and his wife have abused their daughter, and the fact is that OP can claim that he's the victim here, but he isn't the victim. He is the villain, and his wife is as well.
Yeah, and he acknowledges in the comments that his wife, he shares away from using the word abuse specifically, but it's very clear that she's abusive to both the daughter and now the son to a lesser degree. And it's just absolutely abhorrent. And his justification is, well, I need her. I couldn't survive without her.
Yeah.
He has failed his children at every turn. And I think he really, I know he says he doesn't need therapy, but he seriously needs to talk to someone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was also a victim of abuse, but then again, he might not be. He might just be a person, like, there are some people who will abuse other people, and then you see them and you leave them alone, and you're a bystander in this situation because you don't want to face their wrath or whatever, right?
Yeah, and like it may just be that she's perfectly fine to him because abusers are not like abusive to everyone.
Yeah.
They are abusive to people who they have power over, and she may not be able in a position to exert power over OP. And so she's nice and fine to him, and as long as he keeps doesn't stop her, he just lets her abuse the children as she wishes.
Yeah. So I think that OP is spineless. I think that OP has a lot of room to improve and grow, and I do sincerely hope that they see a therapist because I think that that could go a long way towards making them perhaps see the error in their ways.
And I hope that he profusely apologizes to his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
that he separates from his wife and gets the son out of that situation because he's 15 and he's still in the household. And that he does some serious, like you were saying, does some serious soul searching and becomes a better human being.
Yeah, because this isn't good at all. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck to your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And Little Tangerine 101 says, you're the jerk. You're literally doing the very thing that you have accused her of doing right here, airing your dirty laundry on the internet. I noticed that you didn't mention much backstory. Does your daughter have a point? Has she truly needed therapy because of you and your stepmother? Stalking her blog clearly doesn't paint you in a positive light. You may feel very exposed reading her posts, but it's unlikely that anyone would recognize this about you, especially with it all anonymized. I doubt your family dysfunction is that unique. And OP replies, yes, she does truly need therapy due to her stepmother. I know that she's been in therapy for around 10 years, much of it fairly intensive. She was diagnosed with some pretty severe PTSD, and her doctors had a go at my wife a few times before she left at 19. People do know it's us. I found her writing because someone connected to our family sent it to me. If you know us, you can tell immediately. And Web Acceptance 7932 says, why are you still with your wife? And OP replies, I know she can sometimes be aggressive and is often domineering, but I really do love her and I have no idea what I would do without her. I'm not social at all and I don't leave the house much, plus we share a son who's still in school. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Refusing to Attend My Best Friend's Wedding? I'm a 28-year-old female, and I'm entangled in a wedding drama of epic proportions. My recently engaged best friend, a 29-year-old female, asked me to be her maid of honor, and words can't even describe how happy I was. We've been inseparable since kindergarten, and I was ready to make her big day unforgettable. I spent nearly $700 on her bachelorette party, buying cute outfits for everyone and renting a party bus with all-you-can-drink drinks. The other girls pitched in, but I'm the most financially stable, so the majority of it fell on me. I helped plan the wedding of her dreams, right down to contacting the vendors and setting dates when she was too busy. I made the save the dates and invitation cards. What I'm trying to say is that I did a lot for her. And then, 2 weeks before the wedding, my best friend asked me to step down and said that her future sister-in-law would be taking the role of maid of honor. I was mad, and we got into a huge argument over this, where I admittedly said things that I wasn't proud of. Since then, I've received texts from our friends, best friend's family, the groom's family, and even the sister-in-law telling me that I'm a drama queen who needs to get over herself, and this isn't about me. This has really gotten to me, and I need to know, was I in the wrong? Edit, grammar mistakes. Edit 2. Thank you to everyone who's been commenting and giving me advice. I'm going to wait a week to let the emotions cool, and then I'm going to try to sit down with my friend and talk about this. I'll be logging off for now because I'm going to make a huge batch of cookies and watch some TV to relax. Alright folks, what do you think?
No, I don't think OP's being a jerk here, and honestly, I would talk to the people in question to make sure they know the extent to which OP has been involved throughout this process, because I cannot imagine anyone hearing all of OP's contributions and being like, oh, you're such a drama queen. Like, it's basically like she wanted all OP's free labor, and then, oh, but you don't deserve the honor of being maid of honor. I'm just going to put it off on someone else.
Well, the question is, why is the sister-in-law getting this?
And in the comments, she says, because the sister-in-law is very shy and likely won't have the opportunity to be anyone else's maid of honor. But she also hasn't gotten along with the sister-in-law historically, and so it has made negative comments about her.
Like OP has? Or
No, the friend.
the friend? So it just sounds like maybe they're trying to reconcile and that she wanted to really put a best foot forward for the start of the marriage, but there are other ways that they could have done this. They could have gone on outings, she could have introduced them to friends and maybe helped her become a little more social.
Yeah, or she could have made her maid of honor from the get-go. I'm sure OP would have been accepting if it was at the start, but 2 weeks before the wedding, it's very clear that the friend knew that sister-in-law was not the person for to do all the maid of honor work.
Mm-hmm.
And so she used OP for all that work and now wants to give all the credit to someone else. And that's really gross.
Yeah, well, and then also she could have just been a regular bridesmaid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not just allow her to be a bridesmaid? And I think that this is very short-sighted on the friend's part. I understand that they're getting married and that they want to, like, patch things up with this person, but this isn't the way to do it, not at least without alienating your best friend, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Zealous Echo 768 says, so the bride used you as her unpaid wedding planner. Your out-of-pocket money for a bachelorette party, did you pay for the maid of honor dress in addition? That, since you are being demoted, you won't be allowed to wear it, or are you just supposed to hand over the dress to sister-in-law without reimbursement? Respond on social media to her and all of her flying monkeys, everything that you've listed here, and then go no contact with this person who is clearly not your friend. I am so sorry and quite offended by her treatment of you, not the jerk. And OP replies, she paid for the base dress and I was going to pay for alterations. I don't want to expose her online because we've been friends for over 20 years and I don't want to hurt her like that. I'm still hoping that we can be friends. It does make me feel better that so many people are on my side, even if it is just Reddit. I'm genuinely starting to feel like I was going crazy. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for calling my son's teacher ridiculous and saying that my son is smarter than she is? My 11-year-old son has always hated math. He literally got a 0 in several math tests in first and second grade, partly because he didn't know any problems, partly because he just refused to even bother. He's come a long way though. I'm a software engineer, and I think that I've managed to infect him with some of my fascination with math. Or at least now he thinks that math can be interesting sometimes, and it's definitely possible to understand the concepts. Yesterday, he got into an argument with his new math teacher at school. He came home and told me about it very indignantly. It was the teacher's third class with them. On her first class, she gave them all a test to assess knowledge so far. So, in the second class, she apparently said that she split the class into two groups, the ones with aptitude for math and the ones who weren't up to the level that they should be. She put my son in the second group. She then said that she would be teaching tougher topics straight away to the kids who understand math better, and that she has prepared some worksheets for the others to practice the basics. The worksheets were very repetitive, all things that they had already learned, so my son asked her if he could be with the other group. She said that he scored very poorly on the test. He got a 68%. The highest score was a 79%. So he probably wouldn't understand the higher level concepts. They're in 6th grade. Anyways, so my son said that the worksheets were boring and all the same, and he could do every other question. She said that, well, they can't all be naturally good at everything. Sometimes you have to actually do the work. She said that he can learn new topics once he finished the worksheets to show that he knows the basics. There were 20 pages in the worksheet. So my son told me that he did a few pages and then went online and found the worksheet. The teacher had gotten it fully off of a website. He copied all the rest of the answers and gave it to the teacher yesterday. She asked him how on earth he had finished it in one day, and he said that I guess that I'm not so stupid after all. The teacher called me to say that my son was rude and cheated on his homework. I laughed and told her that my son had already told me what happened. I said that she was being ridiculous and my son is very clearly smarter than her. She was shocked and said that she sees where my son gets it from now and hung up. I honestly am proud of my son for standing up for himself, but I'm worried that I might have gone overboard and acted like a jerk. So what do y'all think? Edit, I did tell my son that cheating isn't okay and that he should have been a bit more polite to his teacher. I told him that sometimes people will behave unfairly to you, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be the same way back. Edit 2, I did punish him for cheating. I gave him more worksheets with twice as many questions. Slightly harder, so he really has to work at it. He's also not allowed TV until he's done. It will probably take about a week. And to the people saying that he's bad at math, he's actually not. He has a high B and mostly lost marks for not showing all the steps. I saw his paper. He knew almost all the questions, and more importantly, he tries now. Truly he does. But you're right, I'm still a jerk. I'm emailing the teacher to apologize. The post is staying up because it's a sub rule. Alright folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I think OP was a jerk here, and I'm glad that he's seen the error in his ways. Like, it's one thing to be upset with how the teacher is dividing the students.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't seem like a very great way to run a classroom. But he should have handled it using appropriate channels, and instead of insulting the teacher, actually been like, hey, I'm concerned with the way you're teaching. I feel like my son is not getting the education he needs in this current system. What can we do to change this?
Oh, and then also I want to know, like, why did the son have to look up the answers here,
Right, if they
right?
were so easy, then couldn't he just crunch them himself?
Because, I mean, I've had homework assignments when I was, a kid and doing homework where they were very long assignments and they got very repetitive, but I mean, I still did them all, right?
Exactly. And I know 20 pages sounds like a lot, but again, if it's the same process over and over again, I mean, sixth grade, and it's stuff they've already done, fractions, long division, that sort of stuff.
Well, and then also looking up the answers online, shouldn't a calculator have been able to do the work? Like, why
Exactly.
why go online to find all the answers? To me, it just doesn't add up. Like, to me, this doesn't seem like the move of a smart kid. It just seems like the move of a kid who doesn't necessarily have the confidence that they need to answer the worksheets
Or just bored.
or bored. I mean, that's fair.
I mean, my read is he probably just didn't want to do it, and so he looked up the answer. But again, that's not helping him in the long run, and he needs to learn now that that's not the acceptable approach.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why we do homework, and a lot of homework is a lot like exercise. You assign it because, not because it's fun, but because it kind of helps you to cement those skills. When you go to the gym and you work out, you aren't doing this because it's fun. You're doing it because it helps build up those muscles, right? And that's what homework is, right? It's meant to help build up those muscles. And I can understand it being boring in root, but that's just sometimes the way it is, right? And I think it would have been far more impressive for the teacher if he had gone and done all of the worksheets, turned in what he could in short periods of time, and then finished them all off and went to the smart group or whatever, right? I think her labeling of the kids is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
I think that this is not a good way to run a classroom.
Right, and it feels like she's not giving the students who struggle with math any help or guidance. She's just like, here, have worksheets. So I don't think she's handling the
Yeah.
classroom well at all. But again, I think that that's a separate conversation that could be had after addressing the cheating.
Yeah. And I think, again, she needed to handle this differently. OP needed to handle this differently. There's a lot of wrong spread around here, but I think that OP and their son are more in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. Amber, she has a joke.
Did you enjoy the movie, Mr. Mummy? Some parts were a bit dry, but I was totally wrapped up in it.
Totally wrapped up in it. Ha! Because it's a mummy, and mummies, they have bandages, and so they're wrapped up. Oh, I got it. It's a joke. Jovial Bob sign, folks. Jovial Bob sign. And I have licorice spice. I was like, you didn't have to be rude about it, Brian. I'm just having a fun time with the joke. That's all.
Is Brian the jerk? Is he too rude to Jovial Bob sign? You be the judge.
Yes, you be the judge indeed. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy special Sunday. You know why it's special? Because of you and because of Amber.
And because of Brian.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it in the form of a haiku.
Copying the work doesn't show competence, it just shows laziness.
Yeah, that's a great moral. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye!